Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You know what? We had a nice little weekend, and I'm glad to be back at work, but it was really, really cool to have a couple days where we weren't, running, nonstop the whole time. Only a little bit of time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It was a nice weekend, though.
It was. Our son
later,
turned 20.
How did that happen, by the way?
I know.
I demand a recount. Coming up later, we have UPS and Best Buy. I've got people from there going to talk to us about porch pirates. Have you ever heard of porch pirates?
I have not.
People that steal packages off your porch when you order. I never heard of this, but these guys have some ideas.
I knew people did it. I didn't know they called them porch
pirates.
pirates.
That's what they're called. Hey, according to a survey conducted by the employment agency Manpower, companies are now saying that it's getting a lot harder to find workers who are talented and or qualified for specific job positions. So if you are talented or qualified, chances are you have a better chance of getting a job. So before applying, make sure that you're talented and qualified. And this is one little thing that you need to know. Cows give more milk when listening to music. So if you're driving in the country, roll the windows down and crank your radio up.
Really?
Special stuff coming up later on the program. We'll tell you about all the cool things happening on this date in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, December the 5th. It is Cinco Decembero.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't think that that's a thing. No, it is AFL-CIO Day. It is Bathtub Party Day. Really?
Bathtub party?
We should have a bathtub party, Heidi. It is Colombian International Day of the Reef. International Ninja Day. Have you ever wanted to be a ninja?
No, not even a little.
Not really?
No.
I always thought it'd be... Like when I would watch movies that had ninjas in them, I always thought that'd be really cool.
But I'm a girl.
I'd like to be a ninja. But then I realized I'm probably not going to be a ninja because, I'm way overweight and have no abilities whatsoever when it comes to martial arts. So, worst ninja ever, really. It is also World Soil Day today, International Volunteer Day for Economic and Social Development, and is Saturday Day. So, got all of that stuff going on there. It's going to be a busy day, because I'm going to be busy, doing my ninja moves during a bathtub party.
Okay.
On this Monday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. The 4,000-year-old jug that was unveiled last week was something the Israel Antiquities Authority had unveiled last week. They say this jug is 4,000 years old, and it's from the same era as Abraham and Sarah from the Bible. So if you read in the Old Testament...
How would they know that?
Because there's a little sticker that says 4,000 BC, Abraham and Sarah... No, it doesn't. I don't know. Can I tell you the story, though?
Sure.
Okay, it says it was discovered in a student archaeological dig in the contemporary city of Yurda. And it features the detailed figures in a thinking pose on top of a jug. It was discovered alongside daggers and arrowheads and an axe head and sheep bones and what are thought to be the bones of a donkey. Officials say the ceramic pot, about 18 centimeters high, was unlike anything previously discovered. They say the level of precision and attention to detail in creating this almost 4,000-year-old sculpture is extremely impressive. I've got a image and all of the details on our Facebook page because I know there are people right now going, I want to see this 4,000-year-old jug. I want to see what it looks like. So Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. You can take a peek in there. Now, there was a movie. I can't think of what it was called, but it was not too long ago. I watched a movie that was I used to rent like B-level movies, like the ones that had maybe one actor that you know and everybody else was somebody you've never heard of.
Right, yeah, you
You
were the one who would watch those.
I know. But there was a movie where there was a guy who was supposedly, on he was supposed to be like really good at finding these antiquities, and he was just making stuff up.
Oh, I remember you watching that one.
And it was so funny to watch it, because you watch that and you go, I wonder if that's what these people really do. Like these guys here, 4,000-year-old jugs. So we're going to just say that's what it was, and we're going to go with it. And it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A 21-year-old man accused of driving drunk and leading police on a chase. It finally ended with him running himself over. Anyway,
Wow.
He was treated for minor injuries in Santa Fe at the hospital there. He was booked on charges of aggravated driving while intoxicated, fleeing a police officer, careless driving, and 2 other outstanding traffic warrants. A tip to the state's Drunk Buster hotline alerted authorities to the possibility of a drunk driver. State police spotted his truck swerving in both lanes of the highway, driving slow and then fast. He refused to stop. After narrowly missing many other vehicles, police said he drove through a ditch and into a barbed wire fence before stopping. He tried to put the truck in park, put it in reverse. When he jumped out or fell out of the door, really, he ran over his legs with his own truck. So this guy didn't have a good night anyway. We'll just say that. He was a 21-year-old.
Yeah, that kind of puts a damper on the evening, doesn't it?
Chances are the rest of his evening did not go well. Being booked and whatnot with 2 broken legs.
Yikes.
So there you go. Kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now we've got your moment of duh. Sadly, this one's coming from the front lines of Afghanistan. U.S. Marines, they have trucks armed with anti-tank weapons. They tore into the desert from a Marine base in southern Afghanistan to chase down an unidentified vehicle. As soon as the alert came in, Marines put on flak jackets and helmets, and they took off. It says here the tension was in the air, but it subsided when the unidentified vehicle was identified, and guess what it was?
What was it?
It was a camel.
Oh, funny.
The other Marines were harassing the Marine who spotted the unidentified vehicle, and they said, "How come you can't tell a vehicle from a camel?" One Marine asked. "One has wheels, the other has legs." I suppose at a great distance, they probably do look a lot alike. We're going to just give them that. I don't know.
But you know what? If they were all there, why couldn't any of the others tell the difference
I don't
between
know.
a vehicle and a camel?
He was the one on lookout. I have no clue. I was not involved in the conversation. I just think it's funny, and it was our moment of duh. The scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. This one's going to go back a few years, baby. We've got the food from the famous paintings of the Last Supper. It has grown by biblical proportions over the last millennium.
Okay.
Using a computer, researchers compared the size of the food to the size of the heads in 52 paintings of Jesus Christ and his disciples in their final meal before death. Now, if art imitates life, we are in trouble. Researchers conclude the size of the main dish has grown 69%. The size of the plate, 66%. And the bread, 23% between the years 1000. So the original Last Supper paintings, the food was smaller, and nowadays they're like, let's give them a Big Mac and a Whopper. And what the heck, whatever the guys at Wendy's have too. We'll throw them all on there. I don't know what they have on the plates. Hey, a study says millennials are more into reading books than older generations, but the study also finds they feel they're too cool for libraries. This could be bad news. 88% of Americans younger than 30 say they've read a book in the last year, compared with 79% of those over the age of 30. However, the same group also said libraries, quote, weren't essential in their communities, end quote. This attitude has contributed to the trend of Americans actually purchasing more books than borrowing them. I'm a big fan of libraries, but I have to admit I haven't been into
That's
check
what
out
I
a
was
book
just
in a
going
long
to say.
time.
I have not been into a library for years.
I have a friend on Facebook that just posted yesterday. I shouldn't even admit this because I sound like a jerk when I say this. She said there was like a meme that she posted that said, libraries are essential. Make sure you use your library. And I commented under, I said, they have awesome Wi-Fi. I was trying to be just, humorous. So.
I would like
made some
to
people mad
go
at that, and I apologize.
and get. I don't even have a library card, and I
do
should
that.
do that.
Let's do it. And I encourage everybody, go out and get a library card. Check out books. It's free. It's awesome.
I
and
love
you should
to
use
read.
It. You should absolutely use
Yeah,
it.
I should.
Take a listen to this. A kitty cat in California. So this is a California kitty cat story, Heidi.
Okay.
The kitty cat's name is Fat Boy. And Fat Boy has a lot to be thankful for. A black and white feline named Fat Boy was rescued Tuesday from the top of a 45-foot-high power pole in Fresno, California.
Holy cow!
He'd been stuck there for 9 days.
Oh,
Yeah. Fat Boy's owner, Andrew Perez, wasn't sure how Fat Boy got up there, but guessed that the neighbor's dog may have scared him and he ran up the top, got on that pole. To get the cat down, electric company workers had to de-energize the 12,000-volt
man.
line. The rescue effort left about 250 homes in the area without power for a few hours. A few hours?
holy cow!
No, holy cat. I mean, they
Couldn't
should have
they
done
just
that a lot quicker.
Gotten on their little ladder thing and gone up there and
Yeah, they had to
pulled
get-
it right down.
Yeah, but they had to make sure it was safe because there's 12,000 volts according to the story. Yeah, that's good. Hey, speaking of California, there's a woman from California who has an interesting concept. She is going to go cross-country to visit every single Costco in the United States.
Why?
I don't know. I was just talking to our son who wants to do something like that. And I told him I'd do it with him. We're going to go to a little restaurant that he likes. They have like 6 locations in like the 3-state area. He wants to go to every one of them in one day. So we're going to do that
He is
someday.
so bizarre.
I know. He's I
He's
don't
your
know
son.
I don't know where he gets that. Hey, a 5-year-old boy in Florida just wanted to give thanks to his local sheriff's office on Thanksgiving. So Billy Nolan dialed 911 on Thanksgiving Day to ask Walton County Sheriff's Office deputies to join him and his family for their holiday dinner.
Oh,
The sheriff's office
I
lead
love
communication
that.
officer said, with all the bad calls we take on a daily basis, this was a welcome, happy call that made a
so
lot
why
of us
is this
smile.
not your good news?
It could be. She says the officers did not end up eating any of the family's turkey, but they did give the boy a sheriff's badge, and they let him pose for some photos inside the patrol car. His mom added that he knows that 911 now should not be used for anything but emergencies. So
Yeah.
he learned his little lesson there.
Oh,
and
how
that's right. That could
adorable.
have been my good news, but I have some better good news coming up at the
Do you
end.
now? I'm going to hold you to that.
At the end of the program, we always have good news. So for those of you who are saying,
if it's
"What?"
not as good as this good news, I'm gonna call you out on that.
Just saying, people are listening right now. They don't know about the good news thing. So now they're going to feel completely let down every day at this time going, whoa, why can't we always get good news here? Well, that's at the end of the show. And that's coming up. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Now, 1 week ago was Cyber Monday, and there were a lot of people doing some online shopping, and those things are going to become, showing up at your house. And there's a thing that I'd never heard of before, but I've got some guests on the line. They're going to tell us about this. Something we got to be careful of. Porch Pirates. I've never heard of that before, but on the line, we have Andy Tibbs from UPS and Pedro Melendez from Best Buy. How are you guys doing today?
Good, great, doing well.
Well, we're glad to have you on the program. Now, this Porch Pirates thing, this is a kind of a big deal and becoming a major problem, isn't it?
I don't know if it's becoming a major problem, but it's certainly can be disappointing if your package is taken.
Yeah, so if you ordered something and you don't want the Grinch to come steal it off your front porch, What are some of the things, I guess we can start, since you're with UPS, Andy, we'll talk with you to start with. What are some of the things that we should be doing to make sure that my UPS package not only makes it to my home, but actually makes it to me as well?
Yeah, so let's start with recommending that you would sign up for UPS My Choice. UPS My Choice is a free service that lets you, the consumer, take control of your deliveries, meaning that you can select when and where they're delivered. We will also provide text to email updates to keep you abreast of the progress of the package. You get a day before delivery alert, you get a day of delivery alert, and we'll also send an alert once the package is delivered. So you've got total visibility of that package until it arrives on your front doorstep.
Very nice. Now, how many packages will you guys deliver over the holiday season this year?
So between now and New Year's Eve, UPS will deliver about 700 million packages.
Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of packages.
That's a lot of packages. And then between December 19th and December 23rd, that will be UPS's busiest day, the busiest week of the year. We will deliver on average about 30 million packages.
That is crazy. Now, of those, how many of those are at risk of being stolen by these porch pirates? Is it all of those or just a fraction of those?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say all of them. I don't have a percentage that I can give you, but I would suggest again is to, as a consumer, take control of your deliveries, and you can do that through the UPS My Choice application, again, which is free.
Also on the line with us, we have Pedro Melendez. He is with Best Buy. Now, you guys have some technology to kind of help with this, don't you?
Yeah, like you said, we have a lot of really cool gadgets that are available that can help out in this situation. Whether it's something like a security system or a security camera, like Arlo, which is a wire-free solution that you can put and monitor your front porch. You receive a notification anytime motion is detected, so you can see exactly who's on your porch, when they're on your porch, and what's happening. So when Andy, the delivery guy, shows up, if he rings my Ring video doorbell, I can get a look in and see him there, and drop the package, and I know, all right, step one is complete, the package is at my doorstep. Now, let's say I use the UPS My Choice app and I reroute it to my neighbor, or it's just sitting on my porch. I give my neighbor a call and say, hey, can you run over and grab that package and throw it inside my house? With the August smart lock, I can remotely, whether I'm at work, pick up the store, whatever the case might be, I can hit a button on my phone and actually unlock my door for my neighbor. He has access, set the package down, he leaves, again, I'm monitoring with the camera. Once he leaves, I hit another button, the door locks. Same concept with the Chamberlain Nike garage door opener. I get a notification anytime the garage door opens or shuts, and I can make sure not just my package is safe, but also my home is safe.
That is absolutely awesome. Utilizing the technology of today to make sure that those porch pirates aren't going to get your stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you're doing. And I think it's cool that the two of you are working together to kind of get this message out today. So do you have any options or any ideas of things that maybe you would recommend, Pedro, while we're talking? Is there a specific thing that you'd think, boy, if everybody had this particular thing, we wouldn't even have to worry about this whole porch pirate stuff?
I really think that the Arlo cameras are great. They're really simple to use. If it's something that you don't feel comfortable getting set up yourself, Best Buy and G-Flex can absolutely take the opportunity to do that for you. And really just don't be afraid of the technology that's out there. We're here to help you and get everything taken care of.
Andy and Pedro, thank you guys so much for taking some time to chat with us about this today.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Again, Andy Tibbs from UPS and Pedro Melendez from Best Buy. I think it's kind of cool that they're teaming up to take on those porch pirates. And I have to admit, I had never heard the term porch pirates before today. When I was reading this info, I thought that it's just kind of a funny name for them, really. But I'm glad that they're doing something to take care of that. Don't steal packages off people's porches. Go and buy your own stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A sneeze travels out of your mouth at about 600 miles an hour.
Woo!
Yeah, faster than a speeding bullet. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
3% of all photos taken are taken at either Disney World or Disneyland. 3% of all photos taken. I'll bet this statistic is probably before everybody had a phone camera on their phone.
Yeah, I was going to say that can't be right.
Because nowadays, 3% of all photos taken are probably just our daughter and her friends.
Right, exactly.
Suddenly, selfie. I'm like, why? What do you do? You're taking a picture of yourself again. For what? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ants stretch when they wake up in the morning.
I knew that.
Uncles
Isn't
do
that
too, by the way.
cute? I would like to see that. I'd like to see a video of that. Yes, I heard you. It was not.
You didn't even hear my dumb joke.
I heard you.
Hey, our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Tarnatism is an uncontrollable urge to dance. Do you ever have tarnatism? Or tarrances? I don't know what it is.
I suppose
You ever
I
get that?
probably have.
I've never
Not
had
like
that.
often, but
Never had that, so I don't care how you say it because it's never happened to me. Thanks for listening. A couple of fun facts for you there on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to radiolottopool.com and join today. Again, that website is radiolottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
If you have a texting teen, I've got a tip for you today.
okay.
I should have saved this for tomorrow. Then it could be a Tuesday texting teen tip. But
Oh my
it's
goodness.
on Monday instead. A report says that teens are averaging more than 3,000 text messages a month. That's about 6 text messages per hour, even while they're in school.
Holy cow.
How can you make sure your kids are on their best texting behavior? Well, first of all, it says carefully evaluate whether or not your kids need texting on their phones in the first place. Just because other kids have it doesn't mean your child needs it. Can you imagine if we told our daughter we're going to take your texting away?
That would not end well.
I don't think that would be
She
good.
would come unglued.
If your kids do text, get an unlimited texting plan. Otherwise, your monthly overages will be ridiculous. Making rules around when and where. So, like, no texting during meals, during class, on
I
family
do like
outings.
that. We need to be more strict with that.
And then, make sure your phone is turned off all night long, those kind of things. And then another one is establish consequences for misusing. So, like, there are kids that get in trouble for cheating, like texting messages back and forth. Hey, the answer to 12, yeah, it's A. Anyway, inappropriate text messages, sexual communications, any of that stuff, no-nos. You need to make sure you establish that and let them know what the risks are if they do that. Losing the phone, whatever it is. And then, here's a good one. Watch your own behavior. Parents, I know that you're adults and all, but kids, they're going to watch you, and if you're doing things wrong, they're going to do things wrong. So if you're telling them don't text and drive, but you're driving down the road where you're texting, probably not going to listen to you, Mom and Dad. Actions speak louder than words. And then it says, if you suspect your kid, I think I said that wrong. If you suspect your kids aren't texting appropriately, you can always look at their messages. Yeah, feels like snooping, but your first job as a parent is to ensure that your kids are safe and being responsible. So they're saying, don't feel bad if you crack open the phone and see what they're up to. And if they're saying you can't do that, there's probably a problem.
Yeah.
So there you go. A couple of fun tips from, who's that from? It's not from me. I don't know who it's from. From the internet. So you know it's true. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
Kind of got a cat theme going today, don't we? We talked about a fat cat named
earlier.
Fat Boy, and now we're going to talk about a cat burglar that turns out to be a real cat. A Siamese cat has been committing burglaries at neighborhood homes recently. Getting in through the pet doors, the cat, named Timon, is accused of stealing things like toys and clothes and shoes and underwear and even
Oh my gosh.
a pair of gloves. Timon's owner now has a full suitcase of stuff for the neighbors to stop by and see if any of your stuff's in here.
Oh my gosh,
One
that
of-
is awesome.
Yeah, one of the cat's biggest heists was stealing the shoes of a building worker next door who had to wait until Timon's owner returned home so he could get his shoes back. The owner says that is the nature of Siamese cats, to take things that don't belong to them. Really? When I was a kid, my grandmother had Siamese cats, and I don't remember them stealing stuff from me.
Isn't that what they did on, do you remember, I think it was it Lady and the Tramp? And there were those two Siamese cats,
Yeah.
and they were cantankerous like that, weren't they?
Can't think. I'm going to go get a thesaurus and a dictionary. I think I need the dictionary first. I don't think I need a thesaurus. Anyway, I'll get to that. And we got some more fun stuff on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Did you ever have a pet that would like follow you around when you'd go places?
I do now.
Yeah, we have 2 puppy dogs, and they like to follow you around.
Yeah.
And there was this young girl by the name of Mary. She had a little lamb that liked to follow her, according to the song. But this is a different story about a different person. It's Jackie Mills, and she had a pet that was very fond of her as well. And Jackie's pet snake went missing for
Ew.
5 weeks. A 5-foot-long black and yellow Russian rat snake slithered a mile across a field, up some steps, over a bridge to where Jackie worked. So the snake got
weird.
out and went over a mile away, followed her to work, had lost some weight in those 5 weeks, but is now back home safe in his cage. So there you go. I wonder how he knew where she was.
I have no
Isn't
idea.
that crazy? Can snakes like smell really well?
Yes, our son told us with their
Yeah,
tongues.
their tongue. That's right. When they stick their tongue out, they're smelling. I said that's really cool because when I stick my tongue out, I'm not smelling.
Right.
I'm a stinker, though.
Oh my gosh. You are just full of it today.
Terrible jokes. Terrible jokes. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This time of year, we celebrate with family and friends.
And sometimes that involves drinking.
If you're going to be celebrating, please have a designated driver.
I lost my cousins to a drunk driver. They were only 8 and 12 years old.
Their lives were cut short because the driver was drunk and made a terrible choice.
Make good choices. Have a designated driver.
If you or a loved one has a problem with drugs or alcohol, now may be a great time for the gift of sobriety.
You can call Keystone Treatment Center at 844-204-1055.
That's toll-free, 844-204-1055.
John and Heidi.
Next time you need directions, don't ask at a gas station. Just stop and take a look at the cows.
Okay.
It says
Why?
here, researchers say cattle seem to know how to find north and south. They study satellite photos of thousands of cows from all over the world, different countries, different places, and it seems that cattle that are grazing or resting almost always align their bodies in a north-south direction. The findings held true no matter what continent the cattle were on. Writings in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Scientists, this says the scientists from Germany and the Czech Republic say, Earth's magnetic field, quote, has to be considered as a factor, end quote. A German professor who led the research says scientists may now try to find out how the animals align to the magnetic field and then why they do it. They're wondering if humans could do the same thing.
So, which way do they face?
Well, it doesn't say. It just
Because
says
it says the north-south.
north and south. So they're pointing either aim north or aim south. It doesn't say if their head is always one way or their tail is always the other way. It doesn't say that.
Well, then how are you supposed to tell by looking at cattle? You've only narrowed it down by 50%.
Yeah, you'd say, hey, he's looking that way.
He's
so
either
that must
going
be.
north or south.
I think you should still stop and ask for directions, no matter what the headline on this story says. Anyway, I think it's kind of cool that they do that.
You need to ask for directions no matter what, because if you stopped and asked someone for directions and all they told you is you're going north, it's not going to help you much.
Yeah, compass built into my car told me that. I'm just wondering, should I be going north? Oh, it's funny. We watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That was like a ritual every year. Thanksgiving, we have to watch that. And in there, there's the scene where they say, "You're going the wrong way." They're on the interstate. And
How
he
do
said,
they
how
know
do they
where
know
we're
where we're going? And every time I see that, I laugh because I was with my grandmother one time, and she turned onto the wrong lane of the interstate. We were driving against traffic.
Goodness.
And she was like 92 years old at the time, and I'm riding with her in the Oldsmobile going, okay, this is how I'm going to die when I'm 8. Awesome. Coming up, we've got some good news that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. We always try to wrap things up with some good news, and I have some good news that was sent to me, Heidi.
Okay.
This is such... Have you seen this story? I'm holding my tablet so you
I
can
don't
see.
think so.
Okay, I'll read the headline. It says, Bus driver's note to a mother and father goes viral after what her children did to a boy on a bus.
Okay.
So when you read that headline, what does that typically
You
make you think?
assume that some kids were being naughty.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I thought, too. So when somebody sent me this, I'm like, do you not understand good news? 'Cause it's supposed to be good news. But thank you, by the way, for sending this. It says, a New Jersey bus driver's incredible note to parents of 2 children who reached out to another student with a disability went viral. So now all of a sudden you're saying, oh, okay, this is probably good stuff.
Yeah.
The note, written by the driver, Cindy Clausen, was written after Clausen noticed 2 students, Jorge and Annalise, showing kindness to a disabled boy named Jackson. And the note says, I'm compelled to write to tell you how beautiful your children are, inside and out. This can only come from the home, your patience and your guidance, the examples that you set and teach. Clausen's note continues, says, every day your children ask if they can sit with Jackson. Some days, Jackson is a little sad getting on the bus, but as soon as he sees Annalise and Jorge, he smiles.
I love that.
Jackson has difficulty walking, and it takes a bit for him to get to his seat. On a particular day, Clausen said Annalise encouraged Jackson to make it to his seat despite his difficulty in doing so. It says, when we arrive at the school, Jorge took it upon himself to carry out his backpack. I know you know how wonderful your children are, but I wanted you to know that it shows. How cool is that?
That is so great. How wonderful would it be to get a letter like that about your kid?
It would be. And that's right there, parenting done right. They got to be doing, like she said, there's got to be something that they're doing right there. Otherwise, that kind of thing wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing.
that's some good news for you. We always try to wrap this program up with good news. And now, did I achieve?
Yes.
Because we had some good news earlier.
That was
and
very
Heidi
good
told
news.
me that I should have saved
You did
that
not
for-
disappoint.
Okay, good. Anybody write that down for me and tell me the date, because I'm going to need to come back to this someday, because I usually disappoint, at least her. So time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. This story, by the way, at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.